jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back
First in the building. Big blunts and boxing on deck. You already know. OG back on it. Let's get it. Salute to you, blunts in the building once again. Much appreciated. Salute to the gold on deck. Lil Flex Lewis, salute to you. Catch you on the replay. No doubt about it, man. Long as you tune in, I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that. Big shout out to the supporters, man. Those of you that's rocking out, man, that's tuned in, it's going to come dropping through on this Monday. Be sure to check out my live earlier. If you rock with the channel, you know, you can always show a level of appreciation by donating. If you feel the need, go on my Cash App right there. Appreciate the ones who donate to the Cash App. Most of the time I do donate to these channels. I give them the Cash App so they can get the full price. You know what I'm saying? That's just respect. I'm just saying, that's just respect. That's just what I do. You know what I'm saying? King Mitch on deck. Salute. What's good, Mitch? I'm pretty sure y'all been paying attention, of course. So I want to kind of start with, you know, David Morrell before I get into the pay-per-view situation with Tank. Okay. I want to kind of touch on David Morrell, get him out the way. First of all, no issues with David Morrell, but of course, WCS, I'm just going to elucidate just a little bit more to give you some clarity on how I feel about the young Cuban. You know what I'm saying? So recently, he had an opponent, Yamaguchi Falco. All right. Yamaguchi Falco. Let me share screen with you right quick. All right. We need to talk about some things. This is a champion. This is a WBA champion right now. We know Canelo has all the belts in the super middleweight division, but you all are educated enough to know and understand where I'm going with it. This dude is the WBA champion, a secondary champion of the WBA. So as you're looking at this, What's good, man? Salute to you, Dion. Knock, knock. I see you on deck. Yes, sir. I do. So let me share this again. Shout out to Mr. Gumbo, aka Hot Grease, aka Mr. Sucker Free, in the building. I hope, and first of all, let me say, I'm glad to see you back. Though you was somehow, some way moved, moved, influenced to have some type of favoritism to Garcia. It's good to see you recovered and you are continuing to support WTS. I'm glad you recovered and please try not to make it happen again. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Bet for who you know that's got that TNT and dynamite in their hand. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, man. Hold on for a second. As I bring this up. Usual. Doesn't make any sense, man. This is crazy. I mean, share screen, man. What the like he had invested in the landscaping business. He was pretty much settled in. He was a family man, a homebody. He did. He looked like he's a homebody. Real talk. His last fight was December 2022 against Ernest Amuzu. He stopped him, believe it or not, in the 7th round. Before that was Alex Theron. He won the unanimous decision in the 10th round. You know what I'm saying? This guy was not on anyone's radar, but they didn't look at him and his record as being a problem. But it turned out to be an extreme, so much to the point where he was seriously, extremely overmatched. Oh my God. This is how fighters could lose their life, man. This is where I'm getting at with David Morrell. David Morrell went in here with his last opponent, Yamaguchi Falco, who seemed like he didn't even have any training camp for the champ. Not only that, before that, we all seen what happened to Adios. 16-0, too tough for his own good. He went all the way to the 12th round, took a beating, and damn near lost his life. And then we have Yamaguchi, who couldn't even make it out the first round. You know what I'm saying? They probably told David, hey, man, don't keep this guy around too long. Go get him up out of there. And he decimated this dude. He decimated this guy. For real. But let's talk about the gardeners, man, and tomatoes, the freshly picked tomatoes. Let's go back to Adios, who he put in the hospital. The guy was in a coma. I hope he's doing well. I hope he's doing well because he only had one loss leading up to that. But I mean, he had zero losses leading up to that. But I want to talk about his opponent that he had, his last fight before stepping in there with Dave Morrell. It was September 2021, right? So that opponent before he stepped in there with Dave Morrell was called Lennox Allen. If you look at Lennox Allen's record, once again, flying under the radar, right? Lennox Allen had lost to David Morrell. All right. This is Lennox Allen, 22 victories in, 2 defeats, 1 draw, 14 knockouts. He had lost to David Morrell, who was only 2-0 at the time. He went the distance. Then he stepped in there with Adios, the opponent that David Morrell had prior to Yamaguchi Falco, right? And he lost via KO in the 10th round. Okay, all these opponents doesn't give you a red flag, so to speak. You know, they're just good enough to be who they are. But the way David Morrell was treating these guys, with only, having less than 10 professional fights, he was running through them. The only criticism that I have, he cannot be allowed to fight the gardeners anymore. He is fighting guys that should not be in the ring with him. And it's a weird connection that's going on here. Because if you look at the record of these guys, right, that David Morrell is fighting, if you look at their record, it doesn't look that bad like any other. Like we have other fighters that has fighters on there with O's on their record. You know what I'm saying? Look at that. When he won the WBA World Super Middleweight title, he fought Mario Casares, stopping him in round 1. And then look at Alante Fox, his first defense of that title. Alante Fox was 28-2 and 1. He stopped him in 4 rounds. Then he went to Calvin Henderson, you know what I'm saying, for the second defense, his WBA title. Stopped him in 4 rounds. Calvin Henderson was 15-1-1. You see where I'm going with this? And then he went and for Adios, who was 16-0, undefeated. Then you go to Yamaguchi, who's 24-1. None of these fighters give you the red flag and perk up your attendance to say, well, Dave Morrell, okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty solid. You know what I'm saying? That's not that bad. These guys are competitive. No, they're not competitive. On one hand, people say, well, you can't really blame them because, as you say, WCS, that's just the format of boxing. You're right. That's just the format of boxing, right? It allowed these guys to go to the garden and pick these tomatoes and sign a contract and put them in the ring. But why are you picking those tomatoes? You're going to find some that is ripe and you're going to find some that is soil, right? Rotten. But in boxing, if you get them in the middle, you can disguise it really good. And that's what I feel like went on with Dave Morrell's record. He disguised those tomatoes really, really good. But the exposure came when these guys stepped through the ropes and attempted to fight this guy. He's destroying these guys. And look, we can't go off he has less than 10 fights anymore because obviously dude is much better than his opposition at the point in time. He is much better than WCS gave him credit for. You know what I'm saying? Like to a point where the type of competition that you would feed a fighter who has under 10 professional fights, he's destroying them. David Morrell is destroying them. He's destroying them. He can no longer be selective with these fighters and get them in the ring, and he just make them look like they was just fresh out the YMCA, man. You cannot have any type of opposition like this anymore, bro. I'm not saying you got to go within the top 15 and just dig. Oh, speaking of the top 15, let's take a gander. Let's just take a gander for the super middleweight WBA regular champion. All right. Let's just take a gander right quick at where he's at. Let's take a little gander, right? So, excuse me. So David Morrell, he just fought. Check this out. And this is where it gets a bit strange. This is boxing. This is what the ingredients and the spices that they put in. You know what I'm saying? This is why I try to tell people, like, some of these divisions don't have a murderous row of contenders that they can put in there with fighters like David Morrell, an up and coming fighter. He's not considered a prospect, but yet, depending on the name, they would be considered a prospect. David Morrell can't be considered a prospect, and he's already holding a strap. But if you look over here to some of these other up and comers, they would say prospects, right? They still calling like Jared Anderson a prospect. You know what I'm saying? They still putting that tag on some of these fighters. But peep this out, though. Peep this out. We all witnessed the destruction of Yamaguchi Falcao, well, however you say it, this past Saturday. Do you know in the WBC that Falcao, a last-minute replacement, is ranked number 6? Do you know in the WBA he's ranked number 6? Do y'all agree with that? Furthermore, he's ranked pretty damn high to the point if I wanted to debate about David Morrell's last opponent, this strange piece of receipt would surface. People would start talking about, well, what do you expect? Because boxing has this guy ranked within the top 10, and they send him in there with a champion. He's ranked. So naturally, it seems like commonplace that David Morrell fights somebody within the top 10, right? That just goes to show you how they need a Jamal Charlo at 68. You know what I'm saying? They need a Jamal Charlo at 68. They need some of these guys up here at 68 to shake it up. They got Demetrius Andrade. We still waiting for him to light the dynamite. They have Edgar Berlanga, who's been up there, and he's high up on the chain. But we need some bigger names up here to pretty much excite the interest in this division, or else it's going to be just like 160-pound middleweight. We had the Caleb Plant and David Benavidez certified, official. But what about all the other fighters that no one pretty much pay attention to? You have a lot of foreign fighters that's here. You know what I'm saying? The top 10 is shaky. But the champion, Saul Canelo Alvarez, isn't. He isn't shaky. David Benavidez, he isn't shaky. Now you go over there to the WBO, you have John Ryder. But we need to try to speak on this a little bit more than not. You know what I'm saying? We need to make notice of this, that boxing allow this garden type process to go on annually. And this guy's within the top 10 and he got, destroyed. He was destroyed, and this dude is ranked 6 in the WBC and 6 in the WBA. I'm not gonna ask how, but it's kind of disrespectful and disgraceful. All them prefixes that just turn you off, man. Turn you off. Now, I'm inclined to say, well, Edgar Berlanga, right? Edgar Berlanga is ranked, let me see, number 10 in the WBC. Why Edgar Berlanga fight Yamaguchi Falco? I want to see if Edgar Berlanga have more problems than David Morrell, because Berlanga has much more experience than David Morrell, but he's lower in the rankings than freaking Falco in some of these sanctioning bodies. I will say, Falco is not ranked in the IBF, but Edgar Berlanga sits at number 3. Let me see where Edgar Berlanga is at. He's not ranked in the WBA. He's ranked in the WBO number 5. Maybe they should, allow Yamaguchi a solid fight camp and come back and fight somebody like Edgar Berlanga. You know what I'm saying? The guy who said he was a monster. You know what I'm saying? For real. Let me bring my guy Shaw News, man, so we can talk about some current events, boxing fan talk on deck. Let me see. Gregory X on deck. Smash the like button. I appreciate you. Bill's Boot Camp, salute to you. King Mitch 168 is sweet. I agree. I will agree on that. Shaw News, the Sauce Experience, Mr. Media Marketing Agent, Team Tucker on deck. What's good with the Showtime?
Man, salute to you, WCS. Salute to everybody in the chat. Hopefully everybody's having a productive Monday. I just want to add to your you call them the gardeners. I call them the green thumbs. David Morrell is definitely a green thumb killer. He has a lot of tomatoes and broccoli and a lot of vegetables in his
beets.
column.
Beets, potatoes, carrots, all those ground vegetables.
Yeah, he does. He definitely does, man. I don't know if you've seen it earlier. I was speaking on that. I was like, they lift David Morrell up, right? But yet a fighter like Keyshawn Davis, who pretty much is the same, the narrative is the total opposite. But yet David Morrell is this world beater that he's allowed to call out Canelos and David Benavidez, but he hasn't even fought a caliber fighter to even tie up their gloves, man.
Yeah, I don't. It's different with him, man, and he's not that old either. But yet his competition, yeah, he fought somebody that was in the rankings, but yet it was a last minute replacement, and it just don't add up. I mean, this is when boxing is at the bottom of the barrel, so to speak. I mean, unfortunately, you do have some top 8 in certain sanctioning bodies, some names, some sprinkles of some big names in the top 8 in the sanctioning bodies. But that Yamaguchi Falco looked bad this past Saturday. He looks bad, man. Yeah, he looks bad. Duran, what's good? What's good? Salute WCS. Salute to you. He looked bad. You still there, Showtime? Okay, he might dipped off.
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
I said I was watching your when you were talking about his rankings and all that, and I was saying to myself, who paid for that? Somebody had to pay for that, man, because there's no way he was ranked that high and went out there and got folded like that, man.
Yeah, he only has 2 losses right now. So like I say, you can make it up the rankings. It's all about your connection, and you can make it within the top 10 and perform like Falco, man. He looked terrible.
Oh man, he looked like to be honest with you, he looked like they could have got a guy out the combat league. They would have gave a better effort than that, man. He just went out there. They must have like what do we be saying when we do these fights? He just went for the per diem, man. He got a free Vegas trip, a big fight week, pay-per-view. That's what he was out there for. He got a hell of a vacation, man. Because from what I'm hearing, Usher Raymond was in town. They had what else? Young Jeezy, the streets out tour.
Chief Keef.
Yeah, everybody. So he got a great per diem package to go out there and lay it out, man.
Blunt's up here saying, I thought Falco was 30. I seen him fight. Remember, Falco replaced Abeko. Hey man, look, he was 30 when he was going through the fighter introduction there, Blunts. You know what I'm saying? He looks sturdy enough to stand up there and get his name introduced. After that, it was downhill for real. I
That was,
mentioned earlier there on Showtime that Edgar Berlanga, who is now, you know what I'm saying, signed with the Zone or what have you.
yeah.
How do you think that fight? Because Edgar Berlanga in the WBC is ranked below Falco after that performance. Do you think Edgar, the cannibal, is ready for Yamaguchi Falco, who's in the top 10 in the WBC?
Man, I think the people at Matchroom, that's who they should have got, man. Because he's fighting Quigley. Quigley might be. I don't want to say this, no New York bias. Quigley might be a problem for him, man.
Hmm.
It would have
Yeah,
been.
that is his next fight, but
It would have.
yeah,
It would have.
you're
It
right.
would
That
have been
is his
better.
next fight, huh? That
Yeah.
is
It would.
Edgar Berlanga's next fight. Yeah, that's
It,
gonna be an issue.
it would have been better if they could have got Falco from what I just seen with Falco, man. And he had a higher ranking. Man,
Yeah, he had
Falco.
a higher ranking. You ain't lying, man. Let me check
Falco.
out Quigley. I don't even see Quigley on the radar, dog.
Nah, they got Quigley because of the name. He fought Andrade. He
Hmm.
got the Andrade fight.
And speaking of Andrade, we're gonna try to transition. I'm gonna slowly transition off my rail because I don't want to give him two airplay based off Yamaguchi Falco.
Yeah.
But Jamar Charlo is on record as saying that him and Demetrius Andrade had talked recently, and he said they was on the phone for about an hour. As I'm looking at the rankings, Andrade is ranked number 1 in the WBA, where
Mm.
David Morrell is at. Do you think they will feed him based off how he's been sweeping or goddamn swinging the hole in the garden, or they're gonna just say, okay, well, we'll wait Demetrius Andrade and Charlo because that's a bigger fight. They have a history together.
Yeah, I don't think they give. I think they got a plan for Morrell. How they're moving him and the guys that they got him facing and the guys that they're letting him call out. I don't think the Andrade fight is risky because Demetrius Andrade is still Demetrius Andrade, a 2 division champion who's undefeated, and he's an unorthodox, awkward style fighter. And David Morrell is looking like can't nobody touch him. And I think a possible fight with Andrade would make him look kind of vulnerable. But right now, he looks like can't nobody stand in front of him. And I think they want to keep,
He's looking the way Edgar Berlanga used to look, isn't he?
yeah, they want to keep that momentum and that narrative. I got to use the proper terminology because I don't want to offend anyone. But they got to keep that narrative going. That anything in front of David Morrell, he steamrolls.
That's what's up, man. That's interesting because Edgar Berlanga had his hiccups over there before he attempted to remove his opponent clavicle bone with his teeth.
Yeah,
So since he signed with he left Top Rank and signed, I'm curious to know how he performs over here at 168 with that promotion and who they match him up with if he wins with Quigley. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be because he's still a big name. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Edgar Berlanga still has a name. You know what I'm saying? So let's see how that works out. Real talk. I'd like to see Jamal Charlo up there. Do you think he's moving up there anytime soon?
I think Jamal, like you said, he's on record to state that he was in talks with Demetrius Andrade. Demetrius Andrade is campaigning at 168, so that might be his move. And then he also has mentioned, well, we don't know his state of mind at the time, but remember when he ran into Demetrius Bevo,
Yeah.
and he was talking about an undisputed at 168 or whatever, fight him for at 168. So maybe he does have intentions of moving up to 168.
You know what I seen over there in Vegas, man? I seen him in Studio B, and they asked him about his well-being and so forth, and he wasn't overly aggressive and like they usually do, like the typical Charlo. He said, yeah, I
Yeah.
was going through some stuff, man. I was in a bad place. Things are better now. I appreciate it. I got myself in a better place right now. He's pretty much letting the fans know that he's doing way better in his personal space, his mental space right now. So that's good. So if he's planning on getting back in the ring, the bigger question is, who is he going to fight coming back?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I spoke with. I'm not going to disclose the coach from down there in the Houston area, but I talked with a coach that is close to the camp. I'm gonna say my sources. That's a popular term that is used on the YTC. My sources, and they wouldn't recommend that fight for him, as like a Demetrius Andrade, with him being out the ring close to 2 years. Juneteenth will be 24 calendar months that he has been inactive, and they said they wouldn't recommend him to jump back in there with a Demetrius Andrade, who hasn't been the most active either, but he is coming off a January fight.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to see him fight Andrade. That fight has a lot of history, as you know, from the Star Boxing days when they were supposed to fight at 154 and it never happened. And then they got on their how they do, they held grudges. He needed to get his business right. He was unprofessional, but it's good to see that they are in talks, because that fight is still a big fight.
Yes, it's a big fight. Plus, it has history. You know what I'm saying? Not good history, but bad history is good for boxing to make a good fight. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
it has a storyline.
Yeah, it
It
has
does
a
have a
storyline
storyline.
behind it. You know, and when it comes down to it, the biggest storyline is what's been taking over the airways recently. So let's start to trim the hedges, so to speak, and weed out the snake and pirates and all that, for this weekend. So of course, as you already know, man, rumor mill is that Tank potentially could have did from 600 to 700. We really don't know what the numbers are, but I want to start at the ground level so far. At this point, I want to ask you, what is your take on Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia? Did it live up to your expectations?
Um, as a fan, yes, for the hype that they put behind it, with the especially the press conference. I love the back and forth between Ellaby and Oscar, and Ryan, and with I'm not too familiar with a lot of these TikTokers and guys, but when Tank had the hype man, the kid, the YouTuber guy, and all that, I love that. The
Yeah, yeah,
energy that
absolutely.
it brought to the fight, and then fight night, it lived up to it. Like I see, I posted it. I loved how Ryan got overconfident. He got the Rolly effect. He ran into the burning building without his gear on, and Tank hit him with the flamethrower in the second round, and he realized that heat was real.
But
You
at that
know?
time, do you believe that Ryan Garcia actually saw flames coming out the windows or just a little bit of smoke because he felt confidence to run through the front door? Because listen, this is what I mean by running through the front door. He repeated that combination on
Yeah,
Tank. He
yeah.
was predictable too early when they were still fresh. It was still fresh. Like the fatigue hadn't really set in yet. It wasn't like it was the eighth or ninth round. No, this was the second. They were still quick. They were still warming up and all that. So Ryan
I just
Garcia let his hands go. Tank, amazingly, I mean, expectantly slipped.
slipped
And
it.
then
Yeah.
once he tried to load up on it again, Tank caught him with the left hand.
Excellent
Easy.
counter. Yeah,
Yeah.
excellent counter. I just think he got a false sense of confidence from the first round. from the filling out round. But I don't know what was said to him in his corner, but that the first round is usually a filling out round. But I guess he felt like he was the bigger, taller man. He had Tank kind of backing up in the first round, and
Yeah.
he ran out there with that same momentum. And Tank quickly gave him a reality check. And I think after that, he ate that reality check. He knew the heat was real, and he
Hmm.
kind of, from that point on, like he didn't really, he was going for it, but in his mind, he knew like what he had, what he was up against, man. I think
So you believe that was a game plan? I don't know if that was a game plan for them to come out. And I mean, no, let me back up again. I felt that it was the game plan for them to come out and pressure Tank, but I don't think it was a game plan for them to try to be as reckless as he was. Because if you're gonna go and get that close to Tank, you need to be defensively minded too. I don't think Ryan Garcia had it in him, period. I don't think he was fundamentally sound to be defensively minded for what he was trying to do to Tank. The dude is dangerous,
yeah,
extremely dangerous. So when he was caught, I mean, people was like looking, oh my God, I can't believe I paid all this money. This fight is going to be over in the second round. Luckily, he got up. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? I can't say that Tank let off of Ryan Garcia like Luke Campbell did when Ryan got up and he just seemed like he left, or Yadinas Ugas did with Errol Spence. But he did go some couple of rounds, man. He did go more rounds into the fight.
I, I
How do you rate his recovery? You know what I'm saying? And moving forward in that fight.
I think his recovery was good. He ate a shot. He ate a shot. He took it, and then I just think he was more cautious. He was more cautious until that last hoorah when he got caught with that great shot to the solar plex area, man. That it was like I said in your chat when you was doing the afterwards, it was like a knife wound. You know how
Yeah, he
somebody
stabbed him. He stabbed him
yeah,
pretty good.
yeah, it's like a knife wound. Like you can get stabbed with a knife, and the initial reaction doesn't hit you till you move around, and then you just don't feel the same. And that's what happened to him. He took that knee. He wanted to get up, but his body wouldn't allow him to. 'Cause I'm hearing people talk about, oh, he got up at the 10 count. Yeah, he got up, but would he have been able to perform? See, he probably was thinking about the ladder, like, all right, I'm going to get up and get demolished now. There's nothing I'm going to be able to do to keep him up off of me.
So he declined going out on his shield
Yeah,
and just said I'll live to fight another day. Because I've been on record. I thought he quit, really. I
yeah,
thought he just said,
he was keeping his image alive, man. 'Cause
yeah, I just yeah.
he was about to get a Leo Santa Cruz. He was a wounded prey after that stab to the solar plex. It was only a matter of time. The Glock was off safety, and Tank was going to take him out, man. And Tank is one of the most ferocious killers out there, man.
Do you think did he exceed your expectations, Ryan Garcia, being that everybody was hyping him up from social media? His followers did increase since before the fight and after the fight for whatever
I'm
reason.
I'm gonna say this, and you probably can relate to this, right? Being the many fights that you've covered underneath the bright lights like that, for him to fight on that scale, yes. Underneath that circumstance that he never been on that scale. I know he's a 10 million followers on Instagram and all that, but that's has nothing to do with the stage, the pay-per-view, the amount of publicity, media coverage, and all that. He never experienced that. So for him to do that on that stage, get dropped in the second round and still go 5 more rounds, yeah, he exceeded my expectation. Because I thought, to be honest, when he got dropped in the second round, I really gave him 2 more rounds. I thought Tank was going to break his jaw, like he said. But he was able to, get 5 more, 4.5 more rounds in.
So following the fight, man, good point. You know what I'm saying? Following the performance, with everything that was leading up, and they got a little physical here and there, some verbal jousting, and he goes in there and he gets stopped. Okay, people felt like he gave an effort just like Rolly, but you know what I'm saying, you don't get an A for the effort unless you get the victory. He
Yeah.
didn't get the victory. He couldn't get up. He was stopped. But after the fight, this is where it gets interesting. That a lot of people are saying that Oscar De La Hoya and B Hop left him, but yet I'm going to show you what is out there. And shout out to Big Blunts and Boxing. I appreciate you dropping this. But word is coming out from Oscar De La Hoya's mouth himself. He's pretty much putting it out there what exactly happened and why they wasn't at the press conference. So we knew, looking at the post fight, who didn't you see? You didn't see B Hop, and you didn't see Oscar De La Hoya. And people's like, oh my God, they abandoned freaking Ryan Garcia. They abandoned him. From what I heard, a certain individual over there at TGB or PBC did not want them in the ring.
Yeah. I
You know
said
what
that
I'm saying?
earlier. I said that earlier.
Yeah,
Al Heyman had
yeah.
that they wasn't allowed to be in the ring for the fight. That's what.
So
And when you think about it, they wasn't. If you look at the fight, if you
they
rewatch the
wasn't.
fight,
So
they was not in the ring.
so they weren't in the ring. So those of you that was tuned in, they wasn't allowed, they wasn't granted permission to be in the ring with Ron Garcia. So it was people up here talking about, they just abandoned. That just don't happen in boxing.
No,
Regardless, it's not like he was face first. He
you
was
had you
face
had
first onto the
you had
canvas,
channels
man.
reporting that. Channels were reporting
Yeah.
on that they abandoned them with no information on it. That they just you got to suck it up and go up there. No, it's y'all didn't even know the stipulation. Al Heyman had all kind of stipulations that they wasn't allowed in the ring. They
So
was
this
not
is
allowed in
what
the ring.
correct. So this is what was mentioned by De La Hoya himself. And I'm not gonna play the video, but Michael Benson put this out and say Oscar De La Hoya says his security advised him to leave Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia after he received death threats, as he explains why he and Bernard Hopkins did not attend the post-fight press conference. That was a big deal to people. They were not present at the post-fight press conference, and people ran with whatever narratives they wanted to run. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, your utmost safety is at first. So if we go off of this tweet or the statement made by him, he received death threats. So like I said, your security safety is the utmost number one priority. So if this, you know, is true, he did what he was supposed to do. He had
So do
to.
you think anybody like Floyd or anybody else, Ellaby,
Well,
come on, as long as they've been in boxing, you think they wouldn't have showed up for their fighter?
I think if you gotta look at it two ways, right? If Javante lost and they received death threats, maybe not. But see, Javante won, so you knew they, especially Floyd. You knew Floyd was going to be extra braggadocious.
Yeah.
You also know Leonard Ellaby was going to be extra braggadocious when it comes to De La Hoya, man. That is going to go on to the end of time between those guys, man. It's just is what it is with them.
Yeah, shout out to Floyd, man. Like I said earlier, it just seems like the energy, it just seems like the synergy, the energy, whatever you want to call it, was very positive and and upbeat with that team. And
Yeah.
Floyd seemed like he was having fun over there when Javante earned that first knockdown with Ryan Garcia. It just seems like, man, they was like, yeah, this is my start. Me and him still, connected. We still handling business. I'm gonna make him one of the biggest out there. It just seemed like that was going on. But
And that's a rivalry. The Golden Boy Mayweather rivalry.
yeah,
It's always going to be there. So that was like two owners, two franchise owners of of teams that they got that bad blood. Like I'll put it like this: it was like the Celtics Lakers rivalry,
Hmm.
and he just he got the win, man. Floyd got the win,
Yeah, he
and
definitely got the win. His
it
29th professional victory.
yeah, it probably gave him that feel of defeating De La Hoya himself again.
Yeah.
So he probably
They tried
felt
to
like,
build it up like that, but we
yeah,
all know Ryan don't have the Oscar skills from back
at
then. But
all,
it's
nah,
okay. It's okay.
at all. Sticking with Ryan, right? Reports are coming out now. They was always speaking on about he had a mole or somebody in his camp, but reports are coming out that he really wasn't even training that hard. That he was showing up to the gym, and you know, this isn't the first time or second time that has been put out there about him. Remember when he left Eddie Reynoso, and Canelo was on record to saying that he was lazy, that he wasn't the hardest of work or dedicated to his craft, so to say. What do you feel about that?
Unfortunately for Ryan Garcia, there's a trend going on right now that he's lazy. And I
Mm,
feel that he's an entitled little silver spoon fed, pretty boy.
yeah,
And when Eddie Reynoso wasn't giving him the just due attention that he needed because he had the cash cow over there, Canelo Alvarez, I think Ryan felt some type of way. I
mm,
think Ryan wants to be in a camp where he gets all the attention, because for one, he does have his looks going for him when we talk about Gatorade, Hennessy. What was it? The brand he was wearing, a mirror or something like that.
yeah,
That he was wearing and he made a point to say, what other boxer out here is doing it like this? So I think with Ryan Garcia, he's making his cash on the side. He feels good about it, and he feel like boxing, he's going to be able to get that title shot anyway. And I feel that he can, especially when you see the WBA looking the way it is, being that Rolly may step in there with Ismael um, Barroso.
yeah,
So Ryan Garcia may get the winner, and him and Rolly would do pretty decent numbers, believe it or not, regardless of who they signed to,
yeah.
you know. But yeah,
Because they got the history too.
yeah,
The sparring in the Mayweather gym, the bullying. Remember he
yeah,
said that Rolly was trying to bully him and things of that nature. So it's a backstory there too that they can run with.
absolutely. And we're looking at Rolly being knocked out by Tank at 35 and getting a title shot at 40. Who's to
Yeah,
say Ryan can't go up there and get the winner of that and jump the line? We hope that's not the case, but it may potentially happen. But to get to your point, it's not a good look for Ryan. But to be honest, there, Showtime, I don't think people really give a damn whether he's lazy or not. Just like
nah,
Joshua,
nah, at
Anthony
all.
and Joshua, they say that he was, entitled and wanted everything to be his way. It's the same thing with Garcia, but I don't think people care. I don't think people really care about that for real.
Yeah, I don't think they care either because, like you said, he 10 million followers on social media. He got a lot going on outside of boxing. With the Gatorade sponsors, the Gatorade sponsorships, the YouTube. You see one thing about him too. A lot of designer fashion people, it seems like they always sponsor, his attire for these fights.
Yeah, I mean, he has that. He has that made right now. He's using his looks to his advantage. There's somebody on his team that's getting him out there on the Hollywood side because let's not forget, he was over there, doing like a documentary
Yeah,
of this
movie.
movie or whatever of a
Yeah.
boxer.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So that goes to show you, Ryan Garcia said he wasn't going to be boxing long, so he
Yep.
has other ventures that's actively being pursued right now, bro.
Yeah. He does. He definitely does. I know I was speaking with Coach about this earlier. With the numbers, right? Tank's highest prior to this, I think was like, mid twos, little under three. This is a almost 100% jump up. This is almost 100% jump up if these numbers are accurate. I know a lot of like Rick Glacier was on record saying that the 10 million followers, but Ryan hasn't really. This is his first time, touching that stage. I know it takes two to tango. Do you really think that Ryan brought that much attention and the people really tapped in just for him? He bought that 300, excess of 300K plus for him.
So this is where I look at it. Like, people are always talking about they need the reference something, just like sources. You know what I'm saying? They need to reference something when it comes to a primary topic like pay-per-view, right? We really don't know what the numbers are. We can't really dial it in as being correct, but most of the times we think it's incorrect. So Javante has a history outside of Baltimore of being on pay-per-view. So, like you said, he has the pay-per-view FICO out there. He has the numbers. Ryan Garcia did not have the numbers. So today I asked Rick, I said, okay, Rick, how do we establish an average? How do we establish, like he said, that Ryan Garcia went around, he did promo and he sold the fight and he participated in a much larger way than what we know, right? But I'm looking at this. I'm looking at how Javante is headlining these pay-per-view cards. He goes to Vegas. Ryan Garcia gets his first shot, and he's supposedly a equal contributor to the numbers being this way. Yeah, he might have brought the Mexican, Latino fan base. But don't they always say their Showtime that the Mexican fan base don't rock with him like that?
Yeah.
They say the Mexicans don't rock with Ryan Garcia like that. So how and why did the numbers elevate the way they did? I don't know. But the next question I asked Rick, I said, okay, so if you're saying that Ryan Garcia contributed to the numbers being the way they are, okay, I got it. Do you believe this point forward that Ryan Garcia should be on a pay-per-view event? And he said no. So if your answer is no, then how is he equal? How does his equity add up when it comes to pay-per-view to Tank? Because Tank is going to do pay-per-views from here on out.
Yeah.
If Ryan contributed that much weight to Vegas, shouldn't he be on pay-per-view from this point forward?
Win or lose, he should be. If they're saying that he was equal the star power to generate those numbers, that makes him a pay-per-view star as well.
Correct.
Well, I'm gonna say
Somewhat,
attraction, a pay-per-view attraction. So yeah, he should be. If these numbers hold to be true, and when he does return, he should be on pay-per-view again as well.
See, that's what separates him from Isak Cruz, right? Because Isak Cruz, they made a big deal with him going the distance with Tank because it's been a minute since someone did that. They say a star is born and this, that, and the other. But guess what? He ain't on pay-per-view yet.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And he can't do pay-per-view. But with Ryan, what Isak Cruz didn't have, Ryan did have. And that was a huge social media following.
Yeah.
So if the popularity from IG brought all the attention over here with these pay-per-view numbers, why wouldn't it resonate for him being on pay-per-view moving forward?
Exactly.
I mean, shouldn't it? I mean, your man's per se said that it's registering over 1 million pay-per-view buys. What do you say about that, man? I mean, hey,
I just say his sources are. He
said 650, 700 based off Rick Glacier. This
Yeah.
other guy said It's well over a million into the freaking stratosphere.
Well, see, we know who coach's source was. This
Yeah.
this this other guy, like your man's in them. I gotta give him like he defined me and named me your men's in them. Who's his source? Is he his own source? He's always it's somebody in the industry, but it's who? At
It's just
least
a bit weird. Coach came out with the numbers, and then all of a sudden this live stream goes up before 3 o'clock, and it's overboard. It's over a million. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, that's the
where did
same.
that number come from?
Well, but that's the same guy that is on record to saying that there was this. It might have been the same source that told them the pre-buys was over 200K. This guy he got some secret sources that nobody else knows, man. The pre-buys was over 200K, man. We
Now,
gotta just wait to see, man.
yeah, we definitely
Yeah,
got to wait and see because I want to ask you this. Like, being the Tank is going to continue to be on pay-per-view. He's going to continue to elevate his how you put it, his star power in boxing. Who do you think he should fight next, man? Do you want to see a rematch with him and Ryan Garcia? Do you think he should rematch Isak Cruz? And Ryan say he's moving up to 140. So let me eliminate that, right? I was just kind of give or take if Ryan will fight him at 140. But with Javante, should he fight somebody at 140 next, or should he stay right there and get the winner, Devin Haney Lomachenko? What do you see?
I just think the Devin Haney Lomachenko fight. If the no now I'm gonna speak business wise and how the history has shown how they move over there. If the numbers come back to be what they are, right? The only possible chance that Devin Haney Lomachenko winner could get a Tank Davis fight if their numbers are close to what these numbers come out to be. If their numbers are nowhere near the needle what Tank and Ryan did, the winner of Lomo and Haney doesn't have a chance of fighting him because you know how they move over there. They're on record to saying they don't build other network or other promotional
Yeah,
companies fighters.
correct.
So they're not gonna that won't happen. Well, like what I stated, I see if what's the name is successful in winning that 140-pound legit super WBA title at 140, I'm thinking it'd be Rolly at 140 because that'll give him a legit 140-pound strap.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
but I don't think the only possible chance that the Haney Lomo winner has getting a Tank Davis fight, a co-promotion fight, is Haney and Lomo got to do some real tight numbers. If they don't move the needle with their pay-per-view, it's not happening. Belt,
It's been said, in these boxing streets that they're difficult to negotiate with. So, like the point you just made, when it comes down to the numbers, being that they're pay-per-view, what we talking about, like $20+ less than Tank's pay-per-view cost,
yeah,
ticket price.
yes,
So
25. I think Tanks was 85, and Lomo Haney is 59.99, $60.
we have a gap there. So if the
Yeah,
numbers don't come back respectfully, it's going to be difficult for Haney, even with the belts, to come over here to the Mayweather. I'm just saying, it's they playing ball different over there. PBC with Tank, man, Mayweather and them, they playing ball different, dog.
they,
It's
they,
gonna be extremely difficult for them to win against Loma and come over there with all the belts and say, "I'm on. We the A side. We making the calls."
it's not happening, man. The belts wise, they could flip that script. But when they crunch the numbers that actually, and this combat, The typical boxing fan might not know this, but you know this. When they crunch the numbers that really matter, the dollars and cents, those three belts aren't worth that, man. The numbers are what's worth it. When they say, okay, oh, you have the WBA, the WBC, the IBF, the WBO, and the Ring Magazine belt. How many pay-per-views does that sell?
Correct.
How many arenas has that sold out? They're gonna tell them get lost, scram. They're gonna tell them scram, go fight whoever. Well, you know them. They're gonna say go fight whoever. Tank is established star. We just go fight somebody else. That's what they're gonna do.
Yeah. It's gonna be tough, man. It's very, very much so. It's gonna be tough, and it's gonna be really about the business part of it. Because let's just say these numbers drop real soon. It's definitely gonna be before Devin Haney and Loma step in the ring. These numbers are coming out soon, and
Yeah,
that's gonna be another negotiation measure when these numbers come out for Haney them to even approach
yeah,
Tank Davis on some negotiation A side shit.
yeah. I just don't think. Like I said, man, they him and Lomo got to do some numbers, man. They they
Yeah,
they
they
got
gotta do
they,
some numbers, man.
they got to do if they don't come close to the needle. I don't care who pushes narratives for them on YouTube and they're here ducking and this that. It's not going to help. It's not going to do nothing. And in order for them to really negotiate with Tank, Tank's numbers are his numbers. You can't dispute them, man. From city to city. And now, if he does these type of numbers that are being reported with the pay per view, it's nothing to negotiate with them over there, man.
Yeah, I agree, man. Shout out to everybody that's on the chat, man. Lost all the boxing. I see you. James on deck. L Dog on deck. See you. Bruce Gas Boxing Jazz and more. Salute to y'all. Um, I did receive that blunts, the recent one you just sent. Um, with that text or whatever. That's crazy. Um, Coco said Bruce Gas. Let's see. Said it's curious. Okay, they talking about who was up there with Ryan Garcia post fight. L Dog did make a comment, which would be crazy for somebody like Tank. You know what I'm saying? That means he would potentially go global, and global is a big deal. Global is extremely big deal. But if Tank was to fight over in Saudi, he would have to have a name for them to even be interested, for them to give him that bag. Now we're talking about possibly making 25, 30 million
Mm.
with a fight over there. Who can do that at 135? I don't know. 140, 140, 147.
I'll tell you who may could do it at 140, but all the cards got to fall together. Teofimo Lopez.
Yeah, if he gets the belt, right?
If he beats Josh Taylor, because see Tio, and this is the business side again. Once again, Tio has major sponsors behind him with Bud Light. And you
Sip
have
the
the
water.
yeah, um, that fight right there could generate that international buzz. And what's the name would definitely help too. The new squad. That's what I call him. I call him the new school. Angel Garcia and T.O. Senior. T.O. Senior is an excellent mouthpiece.
Yeah,
So the promotion for that fight will definitely be there.
it'd be
You know,
insane, man. That
but
should be
yeah,
insane.
yeah, T.O. man, I'm telling you, but T.O. got to get past Josh Taylor. That's no easy task, man.
Yeah, for sure. He
That's
definitely has to get past Josh Taylor, but it would be good if we can see some crossover, even with Tio. I mean, if any
yeah.
one of these fighters, because one thing about Saudi, they're catering to the heavyweights right
Oh
now.
yeah, oh yeah,
They catering to the heavyweights, but because heavyweights is they sell. But
yeah.
to get one of these lighter divisions to go over in the sand and
But,
get that money, hell
but
yeah.
but listen to what you just said, right? If they're offering those big boys 400 million, what is 25 million to them, man? That's a quarter. That's
Oh
just a
yeah.
slice of bread. That's
Slice.
nothing.
Yeah.
That's a
That's
that's a
nothing, bro.
that's a slice of bread, man. They offering the big boys 400 million. So if they can get the little guys for a quarter water, 25 million, they all for that, man. The the third cousins that throw that party. That wouldn't even be the princes and the kings. That'll
Yeah.
be the cousins. The cousins take some take some of the Arab oil money.
And
And,
what you talk about the unks and aunties? We talk about the unks and aunties, man.
yeah,
Shit.
yeah, they'll put that one together. You know.
Hey, before I let you up out of here, man, I know you got stuff to do. I want to get your astute opinion on something. Really, I need for you not to overthink what I'm asking you next. You know what I'm saying? I need for you to give the raw assessment of this picture right here. Because in this picture, Floyd Mayweather's looking up. Okay, I had this on earlier. Floyd Mayweather's looking up at Tank and he's admiring Tank, superstardom. He know he's changing levels. Floyd knows this, man. He knows it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But I want you to give your assessment on Devin Haney right there. His look over there
Well,
to the right, dog.
you gotta. I'm gonna say this, man. If I seen this look before, um, remember there was a video out a while back when Canelo Alvarez became undisputed super middleweight. I believe it was at the MGM Grand. It wasn't at the
Yeah, I know
T-Mobile.
where you're going. Yeah, with the
And,
Charlo.
and,
Yeah.
and Jamel and
Uh-huh.
Jamal Charlo, they had that same gaze look. You know that look. When, yeah, and I appreciate you having me on, but I'm gonna close and I'm gonna say this. Some of y'all might can't relate or understand what I'm saying. Watch the 5 heartbeats tonight. Watch how Flash, whenever Eddie Kane hit the stage, and Flash would watch Eddie Kane perform. That is the look that Devin Haney has in his eyes right now. Tank is Eddie Kane on the stage, captivating the crowd. And Flash, aka Devin Haney, who is the king with the belts, is admiring the king on the ropes. Once again, Combat, thank you for having me. They
No
say a
doubt.
picture. They say a picture's worth 1,000 words. I've
Yes,
been on
sir.
record for saying that Devin wants Tank's spot, and that picture right there says it all.
No doubt, man. Hey, it's always a pleasure, man. Hey, shout out to Showtime Shot News, the media marketing agent, and also Team Tucker, who has a fight coming up. We
Yeah,
can never
definitely.
forget that. He does have a fight coming up soon. He's already earned his 10th professional fight that went viral. You know what I'm saying? They still talking about that fight.
Yeah,
So, shout out to the team over there, man. Shout out to your peeps. And
yeah,
yeah, we're gonna see, we're gonna continue to march forward. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you
definitely.
pulling up as
Yeah,
always. Hey,
and
tell them where they can
shout out
follow
to
you
you
at
too.
Shaw News.
Showtime Shot News on Instagram. Shy News on Twitter. Shalom Jones, like that guy tried to think he was disrespecting me on Facebook, because that is my name, Shalom Jones, on Facebook. But yeah, salute to you, Combat, for everything that you do for the team, for Jihad, for Marley, for Amani, even the younger guys, the amateurs coming up in the program as well, man. Appreciate you. And smash the like button, man. It doesn't cost you $1. And support real content creators, support real journalists, support guys out here that's really putting it down on the ground. Not these guys with their made up sources, that they're talking to Leroy and Bobby and all these guys at the liquor store. You know what I'm talking about. You park at the liquor store, guy. I seen you. You're sitting up at the liquor store doing lives in the mobile headquarters. you know. But Combat, I'm gonna get up out of here, man.
No doubt.
Appreciate you having me on, man.
Yes,
Everybody
sir.
be good, man. One love.
For sure. One love, man. Salute. Those of you that's in the chat, man, appreciate you tuning in, man, hanging out. Where me and Showtime chop it up. That's my guy, man. Was covering fights with him long before a lot of stuff that you see is taking place, man. Been on them roads together for real. Mitch say rollback Rick will forever down anyone associated with PBC. Well, that's not what I heard pretty much today. He was given credit. He was giving credit to the numbers. He wasn't too much on some negative. The only thing I kind of disagreed with was that he was highlighting Ryan Garcia more so than Tank Davis in elevating the interest to the fight, Mitch. That's where I didn't agree with it. That's why I had to ask him, okay, so if you're saying that Ryan Garcia is the one that brought a lot of interest, I'm just curious as how do we gauge the numbers? How do we give a pay-per-view FICO? Where do we start? If Javante already has a credit history with pay-per-view and Ryan Garcia does not, there's no way that his pay-per-view FICO can exceed that of Tank Davis. Then furthermore, how if you submit the application, so to speak, for a pay-per-view and you get accepted, they definitely not going to start your credit line as high and maximize it because you don't have any credit history. You don't have any pay-per-view status. And then people don't look at Ryan Garcia like they do Canelo. They don't say, oh, he has a country behind him. No. They say he has a social media following behind him. You know what I'm saying? We get a much more level of confidence when we know that Canelo, we know the Mexican people support him. We know that. But with Ryan, we don't get that same type of energy that the Mexican boxing fans are supporting him like that. We have been redirected to social media. We're redirected to social media when it comes to Ryan. We don't know who those people are. We don't know black, white, you know what I'm saying? Russian, Brazilian. We don't know who they are. We just know it's social media. But I presented the question, which I thought was a valid question. And if you hear anybody else up here asking it, they definitely heard me. I said, so that this point forward, like I mentioned earlier, if he's bringing this much weight to the pay-per-view, do you suggest that he fight on pay-per-view moving forward? And Rick's answer would no. So I wanted to say, well, if there's no confidence in him moving forward to be on pay-per-view due to him being elevated as this fighter who brought a bulk load of the percentage of people to the arena over there in Vegas, he brought them to pay-per-view, and he has that magnetic attraction because who he is, right? Due to social media, wouldn't he be a valuable option moving forward for pay-per-view? Wouldn't he? How can he not be if for this fight with Tank, he should be able to get with somebody else, another opponent outside of Tank, and go in there and do those numbers. If he's able to come in there with no pay-per-views, and this fight supposedly was 600, 700,000, and there was a majority the promo and the interviews of Ryan Garcia and not Tank, who has repeated pay-per-views. Come on, man. This man should be able to be on pay-per-view. Real talk. If you're going to credit him for one of the biggest fights, okay, and he's getting credit at 40%, 40 to 45% from a 50-50 split of interest of both fighters going in here and bringing in these solid numbers. If you're giving him 40% vested participation and fans pretty much tuned in because Ryan Garcia was going to be here, I do believe there was fans that tuned in because of it, but I don't think the percentage was that high. I think majority of those individuals came there, those boxing fans came there to see Tank Davis. That's where my dilemma was. If you have no pay-per-views, he should fall in line just like everybody else is on the debate. When they always want to talk about Errol Spence's freaking numbers and how he's the A side and he's this miraculous freaking fighter, they always was quick to go to his first pay-per-view in Mikey Garcia. You know what I'm saying? But look, Mikey Garcia had already established a Hall of Fame career. Errol Spence has established himself as the welterweight world champion. He didn't have no pay-per-views like that. So really, when it comes down to it, when you talk about dance partners, Gervonta Davis is already a three-way champion, but he wasn't in there with a Mikey Garcia. Ryan Garcia hasn't even climbed to the first rung of the ladder when it comes to career that Mikey Garcia did. And you're trying to tell me Tank Davis potentially did more than Errol Spence, Mikey Garcia, fighting a guy like Ryan who isn't established? Let that sit in your spirit just a little bit. Just let that sit with you for a minute. Surprised Dame Lillard wasn't still hanging with Ryan. Hey, Dame know what it is. He got the word. You know what I'm saying? He got the word, man. It did well over 1 million. It was the highest boxing event of the year, aside from Nate versus Jake. Where did you get that source from? Where did you get that source from? He said, off the record, you got to give us, the fans, something on how Spence was asked about Bud, then sped away from the camera. Fight hype. I will. I got to get to, I have no problem speaking on that. Let me get through the rest of these. Don't believe none. Ray Jackson says, oh, yeah. Ray is worse than some of these guys that's actually on here, man. He be stealing. Davis, the new face of boxing, point blank. Coco feels the Tank is the new face of boxing. Bruce got Oscillator Hurd said his security team. Okay, I read that earlier. He said Tank versus Conor Ben. He's too big. Even though I mentioned it earlier, right? Conor Ben's too big, man. Okay, let's just look at the reality. He's supposed to be a welterweight, but still, you know what I'm saying? According to how many eggs he eat, L Dog, he might come in there as a middleweight. You know what I'm saying? His body loves eggs. You know what I'm saying? So if this guy Conor Ben was building up his muscle mass off the protein of egg whites, we already know it's the possibility that internally his body can transfer the protein over into a banned substance. So I wouldn't recommend Tank fighting somebody like Conor Ben. You know what I'm saying? His body is on a whole nother whatever. Floyd calling for the T.O. Tank fight. That'll be good, man. You know, that'll be good for them to call for the T.O. fight. But T.O. needs to get past Josh Taylor. I don't believe that T.O. too chinny for Tank. I think anybody is chinny for Tank. Even Isak Cruz. Isak Cruz was just, wrapped up in a ball the whole time. Isak Cruz is wrapped up in a ball. He has the correct height. He's short, he's compact, and he was able to stay busy enough so Tank wouldn't find an opening for him. Commend him for that. Salute. It wasn't the most entertaining fight, but it was entertaining for people to say a new star had been born because he went the distance with Tank, man, and people thought Tank would destroy him. You know what I'm saying? They felt that Tank will go in there and destroy Isak Cruz because he was just a small dude. So you take somebody like Tank, who has the dynamite effect, right? We know that Tank has the dynamite effect, and then you take a smaller fighter in Isak Cruz, who doesn't really fit the stature of fighters that Tank has been in there. Like Tank has been in there with bigger fighters, right? And then you look at him coming off a knockout win over a bigger fighter at 140, Mario Barrios. And you take that momentum and you bring it into an Isak Cruz fight, and they saying, no, Tank should destroy this dude. For real. Tank should beat Isak Cruz, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, because he just beat a bigger, taller, rangier guy in Mario Barrios. And before that, he beat a smaller guy, but a future Hall of Famer, and Leo Santa Cruz. That's just me. That's just my take on it, Shotty. That's just my take. I mean, T.O., yeah, he's been down. He has. But anybody can be chinny against Tank if he catch you the right way. He is sneaky. So the clean that up from him being sneaky, he is extremely smart and methodical in how he gained the advantage over his opponent. The way he extracts information, what he collects, the data that he collects from his opposition, he does it very efficiently. Very efficiently, man. And that's a dangerous fighter, man. I just seen you on the channel that had Ryan up. Coco exposing L Dog's inconsistency. Oh shoot. That's what happened. The YTC is open. You know what I'm saying? The waterway flows in every direction over here, the YTC. You know what I'm saying? Blunt said, Rick also said something along the lines of the PBC was disrespectful for not playing the national anthem. Man, come on. It's more things that's disrespectful from people not playing the national anthem. I'm not even gonna get into that. I'm not even getting into the national anthem type stuff. Real talk. Seriously. I remember, man, come on, man. Man, I remember people going crazy. Like, it was some people this day and time. If you go to a game, let's just say you go into a b-ball football game, right? They play the national anthem and people don't stand up. You literally have people trying to treat them like they foreigners, like they're Russians. Like, you have people tripping over the national anthem when they haven't did nothing except work as citizens. They don't know if you're a vet or not. They don't know if you're a civil servant. They don't know none of that. Oh, you ain't standing up for. Oh, you disrespecting. Man, come on, man. Probably don't want to hear that shit. Majority of the followers are bots, though. I agree. It's a combination of a plethora of things that can contribute to the numbers for sure. But to give Queen Cap most of the credit is absurd. He haven't sold ish at this point. Tank's been on pay-per-view 45 times. He has, man. And he did pretty decent numbers. When it comes to the monetary bar for this era. And if indeed these numbers are anywhere close to what they're saying they are, oh my God. Come on, this is groundbreaking. People always want to be quick to say what Canelo did with Caleb Plant. Yeah, look, Canelo Alvarez has been getting money. You remember that song? I get money. Canelo gets money. That ain't difficult. But you can't knock a newcomer, a new face that's climbing, that's levitating, that's getting that exposure. Now, you can't knock him because he gets in trouble sometime outside the ropes. You got to goddamn give him praise. Like, okay, he's not going to ever be a Canelo Alvarez. He's going to be Tank Davis. I'm just saying. He's going to be Tank Davis, man. Period. If he's out here doing numbers and people want to see him go in there and give those exciting, not flukes, exciting finishes, bro. We got to be honest with ourselves. Exciting stoppages. They're going to come to see you fight, man. Period. They're going to come to see you fight. You pulling up in a tank, an armored vehicle, first of all. And then you get out that mug and you're the height you are, 5'5.5" or something like that. But yet, the dynamite in your hand, come on, bro. The casual audience is who inflates the numbers. We all know Tank has solid casual fan base as well as hardcore boxing fans. I agree with that. I agree with the post before that. That fight was both Spence and Mikey's first pay-per-view fight. Tank has been on 5 pay-per-view, and sad to say, but Ron is much more popular than Mikey. Yeah, he is. He's much more popular than Mikey, but Mikey has accomplished more than Ryan would ever accomplish in the sport. He look, Mikey Garcia has accomplished more than what Ryan would ever accomplish in this sport. Period. Will ever accomplish. Ryan Garcia, in my belief, he would not be around long enough to get close to doing anything to that of Mikey. You know what I'm saying? First of all, he will have to get a championship at 40, then move to 47. Once all the old guard has left, we're talking about Bud Crawford, Spence, Keith Thurman, Ugas. You know what I'm saying? The old guard is left. You know, I mean, that's for him to just be a 2-division champion. Them belts about to come off anyway. Them belts about to disperse. Real talk. But that's a solid point. Solid point. Now, Tank showed his hand after the Isaac Cruz fight. He left his hand up. If Tank had 2 good hands, Cruz would have stopped. Yeah, you know, Cruz had his right hand up very, very tight. You know what I'm saying? And he had somewhat of an ironclad defense. He really wasn't hit flush by Tank. And when Tank threw that left uppercut, it kind of, you know, the placement of it, once it landed, was awkward. Yeah. You know, he did. He messed up his hands, wrists, or what have you. But, you know, you got to give kudos to Isaac Cruz for coming in there with the intention to not get knocked out. Isaac Cruz didn't want to get stopped. So that limited him from being more active with his freaking combinations. So if you restrict yourself from punch output, how do you expect to beat somebody like Tank? You know, Tank can box you forward. Tank can box you off the back foot. He can box you on the inside. You know what I'm saying? He's dangerous off the ropes. Just ask Rolly. He's dangerous. Tank knocked Cruz out in the rematch. I think so. Shout out to Andrew Charles in the building. What's good? Stop with the Tank only had one hand BS. He complains about his hands all the time. Man, Andrew, are you still grumpy about freaking the fight? I mean, hey man, the man hurt his hand, but listen, he wasn't complaining about his hands this past weekend there, Andrew. He wasn't complaining, bro. He hit Ryan Garcia viciously in that second round. Then the one thing about him, like people expect all his punches to be finishers. But as he go along in the fight, it gets worse, bro. It's almost like he generates power. Wonder Twins activate, dog. It's almost like some Marvel comic. Like you expect somebody early on, okay, he's deadly, he's lethal. But as he go along in the fight, he's getting that much, you know, more dangerous as the fight go on. Just ask Rolly. Just ask Mario Barrios. Just ask Yurkis Gamboa. You know what I'm saying? Just ask them all. What were planning Benavidez numbers? No, I heard they did like, you know, mid. You know what I'm saying? They was up there in the mids. I don't know for sure. But, you know, somebody early was speaking on those numbers as if, you know, to say that Tank isn't the face of boxing if he can't exceed Canelo Alvarez and Caleb Plant numbers. No, it ain't no sweat off my back. Garcia lost, but I can't stand he only had one hand excuse for the Cruz. I mean, he didn't just have one hand. He had both hands, Andrew, but he did hurt his hand. Like the video clearly shows when he sent that uppercut, it did land awkwardly. So whatever happened, you know what I'm saying? Like we can say Gary Russell against Mark Masayo. We can say that he literally had one hand because his shoulder was fucked up. You know what I'm saying? He literally fought with one hand. Now we didn't get the drastic, result per se with Tank Davis when he was in there with Isaac Cruz. He did not throw that hand as much frequent, that left hand, That might have saved Isak Cruz. I'm saying for really being broken up, but I don't take any credit from Isak. When I seen him fight Diego Magdalena, I came a fan, man. Like I said, that dude is a debt collector. This dude is with the cartel or something. Like how he is as a person, man. That's some. You could tell Isak Cruz is a street fighter too. You can tell that little motherfucker was. He was knocking out big dudes. I'm serious, dog. I'm serious, man. Isak Cruz ain't no joke, man. He did my boy dirty, but he destroyed Magnolino. He destroyed that dude. If Tio loses again, we might hear about more car accidents. And Tio only has one loss. He wasn't even 100%. So therefore, you just take his health. We may be having a different story. You know what I'm saying? Look, it'd be a whole different story, bro. He beats Kambosos and vacate, man. The lightweight division be looking a whole lot different. Ryan potentially may have a belt by now. For real. We'll be talking about a whole nother thing from the WBA to the WBO. We're talking about a whole different list of champions down here in lightweight division. Pitbull is Marquez to Tank Pacquiao. I was just thinking how, that time Marquez flatlined Pacquiao. I felt bad for Pac. I know the Filipino nation, man, they was like, damn, we lost one today. Like he's a big name in the Philippines. Like I still remember that when I was watching that fight, I couldn't believe it. I said, man, Pacquiao, man, come on. You ain't you gotta get up. You gotta get up. I thought for sure he was gonna get up, man. I thought for sure, dog. But it didn't happen. Seriously. But before I get up out of here, I want to mention this right here. For those of you that saw that Nate Diaz situation in New Orleans with him basically having the front side choke on the guy he was fighting. I mean, the guy should have known that. Like when I finally ran into Nate Diaz at the MGM, he's bigger than you would think. He ain't no skinny, frail dude. Is bigger than what you think. And for them to be fighting in New Orleans like that, a warrant has been issued. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing new. I mean, the Diaz brothers, they all about the smoke, man. Him and Nick, they all about the smoke. But it says the New Orleans Police Department has issued an arrest warrant for Nate Diaz on the charge of second-degree battery per MMA fighting. You know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty sure he's going to have to take care of that. Seriously, he's going to have to take care of that. Okay, let me get back to the comment by Errol Spence. We already know Errol Spence was on deck this past weekend. Kudos to him. You know what I'm saying? Charlos is on deck. Both of the Charlos is on deck. They had a different hairstyle or whatever. They looked like twins. It was good to see them actually together. Seriously, I don't like them per se, their actions and stuff like that, but it was a lot of people on deck, right? So Errol Spence, a video was out there, him coming in there against, of course, Ellie was out there asking whatever questions, you know what I'm saying? What kind of cologne you got on? And everything else that goes along with that, right? So to kind of back it up a little bit, shame on the content creators who really don't care, but who's bigging up this fight, saying that announcement would be made, and soon had to abort mission once Espinosa came and made a public statement that no, it's not going to happen, and it didn't happen. No one seen Crawford out there. It didn't happen. So Errol Spence, I was looking more so for him to be in an interview, but he wasn't fighting. So of course, when somebody gets the drive by and they attempt to subtract that that answer from him. It was asked, and in Errol Spence fashion, he didn't answer it. Now I know I made fun of him the way he looked. It looked like he was overweight. He didn't look like he was the same weight that he was when he was at the Frank Martin fight in December. He didn't. He don't. He looked like he lost some pounds. But when asked about, Bud Crawford, man, he left the scene. I'm not feeling no way about it, because right here at this point in time, I don't want to hear anything else about this fight unless it's being announced. Like it's already been announced and people start mine. I'm just here not to assume, speculate. I'm not feeling no type of way about the way Spence handled it, man. If he didn't answer it, he choose to walk away from it. Kudos to them, man. Because like I said before, all these cats had logistics. They had inside information last year, and none of it came to fruition. They gave us several dates, none of it. They said the fight was going to be October all the way to December. None of it came true. Fake news after fake news after fake news. So if Errol Spence didn't answer anything in Vegas this past week, salute to him, man. I'm not mad at you, big dog. I'm not mad at you at all, man. Because you know what? Crawford would have did the exact same thing. Crawford would have did the exact same thing. He wouldn't have gave you all the time of day. He wouldn't have answered any questions. That's just the way it is, man. For real. That's just the way it would have been. He wouldn't have gave y'all no information, bro. He wouldn't have gave you no information. Let me see. Andrew said, try a frontside choke on me will result in irreversible damage to whoever thinks they can pull it off. Shit, Andrew on some goddamn. I'm gonna put some freaking incisions in you with the tip of this flash. Say cheese. Andrew say you ain't putting no band-aid on this. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna be no burn around your neck from the choke being too tight. It's gonna be some leakage. It's gonna be some hemoglobin going on. Regis said Ryan didn't quit. He trying to get a fight at 140. Okay. I mean, shout out to Regis. I don't know, man. I kind of felt that he quit a little bit, but I didn't get hit with the shot. You know what I'm saying? But look, Mitch, you got to think about this now. You got to think it was one point in time where they was trying to insinuate that Ryan Garcia was in talks with Regis Prograis. They was trying to imply that Isaac Cruz didn't want no part of Ryan Garcia. So they was trying to get a fight with Regis Prograis at 140. You can't forget that those talks was out there on the airways, bro. People really suggesting Ryan versus Regis, like it's a good idea. Regis would probably stop him quicker. Regis would beat Ryan Garcia up, man. Regis is, oh my God, man. He would give that guy a thrashing, man. It would be sort of, look, it should be somewhat like the Cepeda fight. You know what I'm saying? That's what I see. It's going to be something like the Cepeda fight, man. William Cepeda. Spence posted on IG that he ain't going backwards. Big news coming soon. Oh, man, somebody bring out the violins, the tambourines, the cymbals. We've heard it all before, man. Give us something new, please. We need a new instrument. You know what I'm saying? We're paying too much money on these strings being broken on the violin when it comes to this topic. We need something different. There's nothing for Spence to answer at this point. Espinosa said they're working on it, and that's that. I know. What is he working on? What's being worked on? He's not doing the negotiation. Al Heyman is. Spence don't have nothing going on in this negotiation. You know what I'm saying? He's been on record as saying that Al Heyman is his advisor manager. So he pretty much put it out there that that is the person that he knows is going to look out for his best interests. That's what he's saying, y'all. A lot of boxers were actually inspired by Tank versus Ryan. Keyshawn Davis said it was inspirational. I think Lubin said it also. Arrow said something along the lines, it sparked a fire in some dudes. Yeah, man, they want that superstardom, bro. No. Let me take that back. They want the stardom. And then they want to take the stardom and put the super in front of it. And they want to go into an arena with that many people in there, man. Come on, bro. You trying to tell me it's not possible to tell the difference? Tank tells the difference than Vegas, than when he fought at Royal Farms, I think, in Baltimore. He can tell the difference from Vegas, from T-Mobile, for when he fought the Barclays. I mean, he can tell the difference. State Farm Arena down here in the A from T-Mobile over there in Vegas. He absolutely can tell the difference with the crowd noise. He can tell the difference, people. Man, that Argentinian Jeremiah Ponce kid will stop Ryan, no cap. A lot of people are going to say that Ryan can get stopped, but once again, let's give Ryan credit for getting up from that left hand early in the second round. We got to give him credit, bro. We'll give him a little credit. Him and Rolly probably, got on the phone that night and said, "Hey, man, how you doing? Hey, how did I look, man? I tell you." And then Rolly said, "Hey, man, I just want to ask you, man, when he hit you with that left hand like he hit me, I saw you got up, you got up like, but I'm going to tell you, man, he didn't hit you clean as he hit me. Like he hit me, I was going into it and bam, collision. He hit me way harder, man. I don't want you going around thinking that just because I was in the ropes and I was sitting down and it took me a little bit longer to make it back to my feet that you got a better chin than me. No, man, I still fuck you up, Ryan." That's the conversation they were saying. Rolly was like, "I still fuck you up, man. You know what I'm saying? You might have got up quicker than I did, but come on, man. I went round 1 through 6. I didn't get knocked down. 1 through 5, I didn't get knocked down. I won every round from round 1 through 6. I won every round. You didn't. You was losing the fight." I mean, look, Roller Romero is there breaking this shit down, man. I won every round 1 through 6. You didn't. You was behind in the fight, man. When you got stopped, you was behind. You would have had to pull off a miracle for to beat Tank. He right. He would have had to pull off a miracle. He would have had to put that jab to work. Seriously. Let me tell you something. There's another obvious point. Okay, about Ryan Garcia. Was another obvious point about Ryan Garcia. I don't know if y'all thought about this. Now, I'm not gonna ask, because when you ask people after the fact, they say, "Yeah, I did." Do y'all realize that for Tank Davis, right? And he'll probably tell you that he's seen it and he understands it, okay, because he's inside the ropes. But you notice with Ryan Garcia that he throws all his punches quickly. He doesn't change the cadence up on his punches. He tries to throw every punch with speed and power all the time. So if you have an opponent in there that knows that punch is going to get there quickly, because that's what you do. You have a routine to throw punches expeditiously. So being that you are trying to expedite a punch, you're going to put it first class. You're going to try to send it in a timely manner. And that's what Ryan Garcia does. He doesn't have no switch up. He doesn't have feints, man. He's just very restricted in setting people up, setting his opponents up. He doesn't change up the cadence, man, when he's in there trying to march with his hands. He just tried to load and goddamn send those punches, man, down range with all the power in the world, bro. Seriously. Plenty of guys will start riding 3-5, 135. Man, I'm telling you. They have to match Queen Cap very carefully at 140. His back foot is non-existent. A lot of those guys come forward and will extremely dangerous for Ryan, who can only fight one way. I concur on that. Subriel Matias, oh my God. Regis Progress, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. People sit up here and say some crazy stuff like Tio. I'm telling you all, Teofimo Lopez is not going to look the same way he did with Sandor Martin. Man, Teofimo is a different breed, man. He just didn't win a championship title in 15 bouts. He's different. He has his snitch, whatever, snick, snick. He has that. He has his own way of doing things. When you see the fighter who has their own way of doing things, that's what makes them special. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel Jahad Tucker has his own way of doing things. When he goes in there and box, he has his own way of doing it. Some of what cannot be taught in the gym, so he has to put it on display. And when people see how effective it is in the ring, then they would start to accredit him, especially when he increases his competition, just like Tank. Everybody was waiting for Garcia to throw that left hook. Tank slipped it. Not only that, his eyes are still locked in. He throws it again. Shrink. And then he makes him pay for it the next time. I mean, come on, bro. Come on, man. He was waiting to throw that. He was waiting to line Tank up. He said, I know I got to land. That's all I need. I need to land it one time. That's all I need. And he throws all his shots very fast, man. And when you do that, your opponent know how to react to him. Hey, he'll learn. Bud would have said, ask Arrow, scary. Yeah, Bud might have came out with some, some savagery. He might have been a savage. Real talk. Rolly got up here in Swahili, but the ref was counting in English. Man, I got to give Rolly his props, man. He did show heart. Rolly got up, bro. And he was crushed. Like Rolly, the shot Rolly was hit with, Rolly was crushed, man. And he got up. I have to give him, even though he said he won every round 1 through 6. Bro, he got out here talking about he won every round 1 through 6, dog. And you got stopped in the 6. Not only that, you got dropped in the 6. So you're looking at a 10-8 round unless you got some funky funk judges over there that want to score the 10-10. Come on, bro. Don't let me get come on, man. Get my boosie. Man, no, man. Come on, man. Why are you doing that, man? Shout out to Coach, man. Coach Malachi on deck. True Meat Today, USA Boxing in the building. He said, salute WCS. Peace to everyone in the chat. Man, that live, God damn. Did I see oh my God, dog. Man, that title and everybody else, man, it's almost like it was a Friday. Everybody was off work early. It was damn near 900 people in that live, dog. Truth be told, WCS was only 900 and goddamn 30 people off from having the same count. God damn, that live was jumping over there, dog. That shit was the club, man. That was that Friday when the club go up on Friday. When you got a 96, you got a holiday on a Monday, and you're going to them clubs in the military, you don't have to be to work on Monday. It's a 96. Oh my God, man. That shit was crazy. Phone lines just crazy. Man, shout out to Coach, man, doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? Keep the phones ringing. You know what I'm saying? And keep the airways banging. That's all you got to do, Coach. Mitch said Queen Cap couldn't even get a jab going because he was so worried about landing the left hook. All his punches can be counted anyways because his feet and placement are notoriously horrible. Yeah, we know that he's a flat-footed fighter, bro. He's gonna have to fix it. But he ain't gonna be able to fix that, there, Mitch, if he's not spending ample amount of time in the gym to improve himself. It's not gonna work out for him. It's not. Yeah, man. I gotta go over there and hit the replay on a point. I timestamped. I gotta go back over there and hit the replay, on a certain point in there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the title did it, man. The title did it. Even though, your boy said it was over 1 million. He went over the top of you and did a live. But Coach was over there with motherfucking close to 900 people in the motherfucking live, dog. God damn. Hey, we was just one day off, Coach, from that song that was out. The club go up on Tuesday. Club goes up on a Tuesday. It was up on a Monday today. They said them judges scored the second round 10-10 and 10-9 after Tank dropped. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. They try to, man, I'm telling them, these judges, these referee, the judges and the commission, they will always influence the outcome of a fight. And once again, show us what corruption is really about. They will do it. They would do it to us all the time. How can that round be a 10-10, bro? How? How can it be anything other than a 10-8? I mean, Ryan would have had to have a surge and knock Tank down. Both fighters would have had to been banging out, man. And it seemed like that Ryan was coming on at the end. It would have had to be a ebb and flow, you know what I'm saying, and rhythm and momentum. Dave Moretti did that 10-10 in the second round. Yeah, Dave Moretti, he's a staple. You know how it is, man. That's not the first time he had some questionable stuff, man. If they don't have nobody to hold them accountable, let's just say it like this: the effect that Adelina Bird, I don't care if I mention her name correctly, Bird, the effect that she had on the fight by being so far off with the numbers. She only received a temporary suspension. And once that suspension up, she went right back to sitting ringside, and nobody even mentioned her at all. Nobody even cares on what she did because them referees know they're protected. I think they know, period. I think they know when something screwed up is about to happen, that the fight is this way, that way, and to prepare to take some time off with pay. I mean, what's so bad about taking time off with pay, bro? Come on now. For real, man. Even fighter rallies after knockdown, the best he can do is a 9-8. And that takes a lot of work. It does, man. It does. Seriously. It really does, man. But I don't think people, and that's a good point that Andrew just made right there, because a lot of people don't know how that 10-8 situation works. If your opposition, have some type of rebound, you know what I'm saying, and they come forward, they don't know how that 10-8 system, scoring system work in that. But that's a good point. That's a good point. But I'm about to get up out of here, y'all. It's going on 2 hours. I'm about to bounce. Y'all be sure to hit the like button on your way out. If you want to support the channel, hit the Cash App. I appreciate it. Donate however you feel. Until next time, man, y'all hold it down. Check out the IG, content. Just out there. Support the channel. Hold up. Former cup service. Wow. But you have Clarissa Shields and she has a fight coming up that she's going to be in a rematch. You know what I'm saying? That people not talking about as much, but She's about to have another rematch, man. Like, I don't know why, but when you've accomplished so much as Carissa, the GWOAT, you have to start searching for fights, man. You have to start searching for fights, man. But y'all hold it down. Appreciate y'all. Big salute for y'all tuning in today, man. Hit the like button on your way out. Turn up and tune in to World Combat Sports, man. I'm out.